Well, you're here. I'm good. How are you doing today? Are you working today?
Yes, I was working today. I left a little early. There was not
Yeah.
really much going on today. It was just kind of a chill day.
Do you go into the office? Or are you working from home a lot or?
Yeah, I go into the office right now. I can work from home whenever I want, but I find myself to just be so much more productive when I'm in the office. Like if I don't know, I'm so easily distracted by my environment. So if I'm at home, I'm like, oh, I could make another coffee and like play with my cat and like just the stupid little things. But if I'm in my office, I'm like, okay, I'm here for a reason. I'm here to work. I should be like productive somehow.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah, working from home is not always the best.
No, I'm just so like, I'm not like ADHD, but I'm very easily distracted.
Yeah.
And I just let myself. I'm
Fold
like,
the laundry, do the dishes.
oh yeah. And all those little
whatever.
things are just like in the back of your mind when you're at
Yeah.
home. I tried to I was going to make a little office in my home, but then I was like, I don't know. I just didn't focus well. So I was like,
Yeah.
I got to take myself out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice to get dressed and go out too.
Yeah, it is. It's like the main thing, like the only thing I really like to do right now, which I
Yeah.
guess is pretty normal.
Yeah.
Well, but yeah, it's just basically like going to the office and hanging out there and then coming home.
And what office are you with?
I'm with Royal LePage.
Okay.
Yeah,
And that's in Duncan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like Royal LePage. I kind of interviewed all the different brokerages, not all of them, but a majority of the different brokerages in town. And Royal LePage just kind of seemed like the best fit, I guess. Like, I mean, all of the managing brokers I met with were really nice, and I'm sure everywhere has like good training and a lot of great things about them. But Royal LePage just seemed to have like, it's not quite as big. There's only 16 agents opposed to like Pemberton Homes, which has, oh my God, they have like 30 something, 40 maybe. So it's a lot, everyone's a lot closer. So the support network is really strong. So that was like a big factor in why I decided to go there.
Nice. So how does somebody get into real estate? How do you kind of start that train?
Well, you have to go to school for it. Your first step is definitely going to school and like just starting that. I don't know how I really like decided to get into it. Like, I think I wanted to get into it. I wanted to for a really long time, actually. Like, probably since high school, it was something that was like an idea for me. But you can't actually enroll into the course until you're 19.
Okay.
So yeah, so I took a couple years off after high school, and then yeah, you just enroll in the course. I worked full time while I was in it, so it took me about a year ish to do the course. And then you have to pass the exam. Once you pass the exam, you take an applied practice course, which is more of like a practicum kind of in the field assignment type thing. And then once you get that, you get your license.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where were you working at the same time as that?
Well, when I started the course, I was working at Mr. Mike's.
Okay.
Yeah, I was working at Mr. Mike's. Oh, my cat might make an appearance. I was working at Mr. Mike's, and then while I was in the course, actually, because I'd already kind of had different meetings with different managing brokers, and someone I worked with at Mr. Mike's also worked at Royal LePage in administration, and she ended up leaving that job and like recommended me, which was kind of fun. Well, kind of weird because I was never in administration. I had no experience at all, but my boss now, he called me and he was like, hey, would you be interested in like doing admin for a couple days a week? And I was like, sure. So I took the job there too. So I was at Royal LePage like 5 days a week, and then I was doing administration there 2 days a week, and then in school all the other time.
Wow, you're busy.
I was really busy for a while.
Yeah.
It was a lot, but that's okay.
Well,
I like being
cool. Yeah. Yeah. So how long have you been in real estate now? I guess you couldn't start it till you were 19.
Yeah, I couldn't start till I was 19, and then I didn't even start right away. I was planning on starting it kind of right away when I turned 19, but I ended up, I think when I was 19 would have been in like 2018. I ended up going to Thailand, and then I ended up kind of enrolling in the course when I was like 20.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess graduated from the course when I was 21. But I was actually, so I passed my exam I failed my first exam and then I
I've
got
heard it's really hard, that exam.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous. It's
You
so
have to
bad.
have a high passing
Yeah,
percentage
so
too, right?
that's the thing. Like, so many people, when I tell them, they're like, "Oh my God, was the course like so difficult?" And I'm like, "It wasn't even like the course that was that difficult. It's just the exam." And it's not that it's difficult either. It's just the way they structure it. Like, they structure it for you to fail it, and
Hmm.
all of the questions, and it's just like multiple choice. It's like 100 questions, so it seems like, oh, like that's easy. Like, if I know everything, it'll be fine. But it's just the way they word the questions that like tricks you on every single one.
Right.
But yeah, so you have to get 70% on it. The first time I went, and I studied all the time, I got a 68%. Close. Oh, I was so annoyed.
Yeah.
But then if you fail it, you have to go on like a 3-month suspension, and then yeah, and then you have to like go back over to Vancouver and take the exam again. And then I took it the second time and I got a 98. But I took like I think I took 3 full weeks off and was studying at least 8 hours a day.
Wow. You have to go all the way to Vancouver for that?
Yeah, well, no, I think they have exams on the island, but they're like written ones, and you can only, I think there's only 2 a year or something like that. Or you can go to the UBC campus and you can take an online one, and it's all online, and then you can get your results the next day.
Oh, that's
I was
awesome.
like, I cannot take it and then have to wait like a month to get my results. I'll just go stir crazy.
Yeah.
So I just opted to go over there for both of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it has like a 70% failing rate or something.
Yeah.
Like, most people take it multiple times.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if I know anyone that passed it on the first try.
No, everybody that I've ever talked to that is a real estate agent says that they've taken it many, many times.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, there's people in my office too, like great realtors, so smart, took it like 4 times.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too is if you fail it a second time, you actually have to leave the course and you have to re-enroll, like pay your tuition again and restart. So you can fast track it. Yeah. So you can fast track it a bit. Like, if you've already taken it, obviously you kind of already have a basis of knowledge. So you can do like the maximum amount of assignments per week or per month or whatever it is. But you still like have to pay another like couple $1,000s to get back into the course, and then wait, like, I think it's a minimum of like 4 months, and then take it again. And then every time you take the exam, it's a couple $100s. It's a trip to Vancouver. It's a process. So I'm really happy I got it on my second try. I was like, I'm not failing a second time.
Yeah.
It was not an option.
Did you have a backup plan, or were you just going to go back to do school at another place or do something else?
Like, if I failed it a second time?
Yeah. Were you going to do the whole course again, or did you have like another plan?
Yeah, I was going to do it the whole time. Yeah. That's like kind of the thing, is that I never really like, I had ideas of other stuff I wanted to get into, but real estate was like, it's what I'm passionate about. So I was like, well, if I can't not work out because it's my only thing. Like, it's not, well, if this doesn't work out, I'll be a vet. Because I'm like, no, this is what I want to do. So I'm making it work out.
Yeah.
So I just like really focused that second time around. Was like, I got to get this. And I got it. So I'm happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so have you learned any like tips or any kind of things for people buying homes in your experience so far that you could share?
I mean, right now the market is very, very crazy. Like, I don't know if you've heard about it at all. A lot of people now are like, oh yeah, like I've heard homes are selling so fast and this and this and this. But right now for a buyer, like I mainly work with buyers right now since I'm so new. Like, listings, I think, are definitely something that comes later on, or when you have a bigger network and you have more people that have like referred you. So I mainly work with buyers right now. And it's definitely a seller's market right now that we're in. I think since the pandemic is kind of when it started in like April of last year, a lot of people that had listings when it kind of hit took their listings off because they weren't selling, and people got really nervous, obviously. But since then, it hasn't really recovered for inventory. So it's super, super low. I think so for January, I think for the entire month, there was only like 27 active listings in Vancouver, or maybe it was in the Cowichan Valley. The Cowichan Valley, there was only 27 versus like January 2020, there was like 85. or
Yeah.
something like that. So like extremely low, and all of them are selling. Like it's like 105% selling rate, like higher than it was year over year. But interest rates are really, really low right now. So
Right.
that's also what's driving so many buyers to want to buy right now. Because yeah, the interest rates are at like 1.8 to 2.1%, like kind of in that range.
Yeah.
So for that reason, it's a great time to buy. But I would say if you're looking to buy right now, just get pre-approved and have a realistic idea of what you're looking for, and give yourself time, because yeah, rushing into something right now can just be so tricky. And
Yeah.
especially with everything is also selling really, really high, or really high above the asking price, and there's a lot of multiple offer scenarios and bidding wars, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's just mental right now. So I would say just to have a really realistic idea and have patience and trust the process. And then for people listing, just list it and it'll sell.
Yeah, there's a lot of options for that right now.
Oh my God, yeah. And like I've been saying to people too, like if you have like a unique house, or a house that may sit on the market longer at a different time, like now is the time to sell it, because there's nothing. So people are just considering all their options, and
Right.
how would maybe not usually get looked at will get like 45 viewings in a day, and we'll get 27 offers, and it'll sell for $70,000 over asking.
Crazy.
So if you want to list, right now is a great time.
Yeah. So what's your day-to-day kind of jobs look like?
Um, every day is so different. Like I
Yeah.
don't really have an average day, because every day is so different. Like some days, like today, were really chill. Like I kind of just went into the office. I mean, I have kind of a routine for a chill day. If I don't have any appointments for the day, I usually just go into the office. I'll usually check what new listings have hit that day, check if I have any emails to reply to, anyone I want to like get in touch with and follow up with, which was kind of today. Like I kind of just went in and looked at what happened over the weekend. Um, I might have like some phone calls with clients, or I mean, right now with it being tricky to buy, so many people are not really having a lot of luck. So a lot of my job right now is just keeping in contact with people and making sure that they're still like not super discouraged, like they're still happy, like they know that I'm still looking for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was, and I usually just, sometimes I have meetings with my managing broker. Like we usually have a couple meetings a week just to talk about things and discuss the market and stuff like that. So that would be a more chill day. But then some days I think it's going to be a nice chill day, and I'm just going to go in the office and drink coffee and like chat with coworkers. And then some days I'll get a call at like 8 a.m. They'll be like, have you seen this house? Like, can we go look at it at 9? And then like they'll be looking at offers at 6. So then I have to like get in a small time slot and go to viewings, and then write an offer, and then wait for a counter offer. And yeah, my days are always so different.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never know what to expect. I kind of just expect the unexpected,
Yeah.
honestly. And I try to go in with like an idea of what I want to get done in a day, but be ready to switch that around.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go with the flow. That's like
Yeah.
what my work days are like. You never know what you're walking into.
Yeah. Yeah. You work in healthcare, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. So do you work in a care home?
Yeah, I used to be a care aide, and now
Mhm.
I'm like a manager of the care aides kind of thing in a care
That's kind of
home.
cool, like a supervisor type thing for.
Yeah, yeah. So I do like scheduling and
Yeah.
care conferences and all
Yeah.
kinds of the admin stuff that I never really thought that I would like either. But
Yeah.
I got into this position, and so I'm less hands-on, but it's the same kind of thing. Like I get into the office, and it's more of an office. It is an office job,
Yeah.
and I never know what I'll be doing.
Do you like it? Like, do
I
you like
do. Yeah, that was never really like my goal, but it came up. And so I think I do want to go back to school for nursing eventually. That was
Yeah,
always my goal, was to be an RN. But
yeah,
for now, I like this job.
yeah. Well,
It's nice.
that's not bad. It's kind of nice too. Like, I know for me too, doing the administration, like it gave me well, I mean, I hadn't even started my job yet, but it gave me a different perspective on everything.
Mhm.
I saw the inner workings
Definitely.
of my job, which was, yeah, it's just cool to have that perspective. And
Yeah, like I understand why the staffing happens a certain
yeah,
way and how the budget works and
yeah,
whatever payroll works. And so, yeah, I see all the back end stuff of it that and I also know the other side of it as well. So it's kind of cool to see both sides. Yeah.
Yeah. Like when I was in the job, I kind of was like, I don't really know how much like I'm gonna apply this. Like it was really great to make connections with all my coworkers before I got
Mhm.
licensed. Like that was huge, and I could just
Yeah.
take all day long because I was always sitting at the front desk. So every time they'd come in, I'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing today?" Like,
Yeah.
what can you tell me? Oh, you have a client doing this. Oh, like how does that work? So I like tried to learn it, like absorb as much knowledge as I could that way. But like my job, I was like, I don't really know if I'm learning much. But then I realized after, like, oh, I actually know, like, once I do complete a sale, all the paperwork that needs to go to the front. I know how to
Mhm.
advise clients on like the process of going to the lawyers, and like I know different lawyers to recommend. I know different like inspection companies, like random little things like that that I didn't really consider at the time. After I was like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have known that as well if you didn't do the administrative side of it
Yeah.
first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would have had no idea. And like doing the administrative side too, there was new realtors that came on, and I'd be like, oh, like, where is this sheet? And they'd be like, oh, I have to give that to you. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, you do. But I never had to like go through that learning curve. Like I just knew what I needed for every file and could just go from there.
Yeah. Well,
So
that's cool. And
yeah.
from where you're at now, where is your career? Like, where can you kind of go as a real estate agent?
I mean, it's like right now I'm really happy just doing what I'm doing, but real
Mhm.
estate is such a like I everyone says that it's something that you're going to continue to learn for like 10 years. Like you
Yeah.
won't have a handle on your business for years because every transaction is so different. Everything is just so different, and there's so much to learn. So I think, well, I also thought that getting into it too, like I thought I'd get in and just right away just like be selling all these like super nice houses and
Yeah.
super busy
Like the
homes.
shows.
Yeah, like I love like HGTV
Oh
and like
yeah.
all those shows. So I really thought I was gonna get into it and be like, this home is listed at 1.2 million. Sign here, and it would just be like easy.
Yeah.
And getting into it, I realized like that's not at all how it works. Like you really have to start, like you really just got to be humble and literally take all the work that you can get and just try and really like learn from every experience. So I definitely think that over time, like I want to build up my client base. I'd love to get more listings in the future. Like there's so much I want to do. I think I'll stay in residential real estate. Like I don't really have an interest in doing like the commercial side,
Yeah.
but yeah. And then one day, I mean, I would love to get into like luxury real estate and actually like sell those amazing homes, because I also really love architecture. So
Yeah.
just to like know, and interior design and all of that, so to be in the market for that sort of thing, that would be really cool. But that's a further down the road goal.
Do you think you have to like go to a firm outside of Duncan to do the more luxury real estate, or is there much of a market here for that?
There's becoming a bigger market for it here for
Right.
sure. So I mean, I wanted to start in Duncan, obviously, because I was like born and raised here. So I know Duncan better than I know anywhere else.
Right.
But the market for luxury real estate is definitely getting bigger and bigger in Duncan. Because I mean, even like the new homes in the properties, they are starting to sell like they like start at like 900,000.
Right.
So it's, and then there's some homes there that are just insane. There's homes like on Quamachin Lake that are crazy. Like I didn't even realize there was so many really crazy like beautiful homes around here,
Yeah.
but there is.
And I
So
guess along the ocean in Maple Bay, I think there's
yeah.
nice
Oh yeah.
homes.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, yeah. And in like Genoa Bay, all the bays.
Yeah.
Snow
Yeah.
Bay, Genoa Bay, Maple Bay, like Ladysmith, Mill Bay. Yeah, there's some really, really crazy areas. Um, so yeah, I mean it's very niche, and because there's not a huge market for luxury homes in the Cowichan Valley, like there's like there's a few realtors that definitely have a good handle on a lot of that.
Hmm.
If I stay in the Cowichan Valley, then that's definitely something I would strive for in the
Yeah.
future. But there's obviously a lot more, like if you go towards like Victoria or Vancouver, which I would also be like open to.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Vancouver would be a big
Yeah.
market to go
Oh
into.
yeah, Vancouver would be huge, but there's also like I can't even imagine how many realtors in
Oh
Vancouver.
yeah.
So it would not be where I'd want to start
Competing.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe in the future. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
kind of open to everything. I'm just kind of taking every day as it goes. And like I said, just trying to like learn as much as I can and have fun.
Yeah, yeah, it's really interesting. I used to, when I first moved to Victoria, I babysat for this guy who owns, um, oh, what's the company called? Some real estate company in Victoria.
Mhm.
And it was so interesting. They had such a crazy life. Like he'd obviously been in it for a long time, but I
Yeah.
always babysat for them, and they're going to some award show or some
Yeah.
dinner with clients or something, and their house was incredible. And I
Oh,
was like, wow, being a real estate agent might be really cool.
is it one of
But
like the
it
more
was
like,
totally luxury.
yeah, was it luxury real estate? Like, was it like the agency or
It
like
was, oh no, it was Coldwell and Banker. That's the one he owns. And
oh, okay.
so yeah, he bought that broker firm or whatever that's called.
Yeah.
And yeah, I babysat for them, and I always thought that is a cool life. Their house was
It,
super cool.
it definitely can be. And like, there's even people in my office too, which are like super high producing agents. And
Hmm.
like, and I mean, like I said, I have a really good relationship with everyone in my office, which is amazing, but they're so busy and like, they're just all of that was actually something I was really excited about getting into real estate. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to go to all the award ceremonies
Yeah.
and all the like banquets and fun events, like the networking things. Like I was so excited for all that. And when I was in admin, I would just watch them all go and I'd be like, how fun, I can't wait to come back here. But then the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
So all of it's been canceled. It's all been like over Zoom and stuff, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for when I can go
Dress
to.
up and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, because they like, you look really nice. You go, everyone get
Mhm.
like has dinner and drinks, and sometimes like they have them. Well, there's obviously like island ones, and then there's BC, and then there's Canada, and all these things. And I think you can basically go to whatever ones you want to. Usually, I think they're pretty like brokerage exclusive. Like
Right.
it'll be like Royal LePage Awards for me, for instance. So I know they'll have
Is
a.
Royal LePage all across Canada?
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, I think it was founded in Ontario.
Okay.
I think, yeah. So and I think it's just a Canadian real estate company. So
Right.
it's all across Canada. There's brokerages all over the place. So those ceremonies and awards things end up being really big
Yeah.
because there's hundreds and hundreds of these Royal LePage agents that go. And I don't know. I'm excited for when I can go because I feel like it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that'll be really fun. I know I started my job, and before that, I would see, like, as a care aide in the company, I would see all
Mhm.
the managers going to these like big conferences and
Mhm.
fun things. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to do that. And then I haven't gone, like, usually they go to Toronto and Vancouver and all these things, and I haven't gone at all because I started right in February, the end of
Uh-huh.
February last year,
Yeah.
right when COVID hit. And so, yeah, it's totally affected that part. So I haven't done any of that fun, like traveling with the company or anything
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
But has COVID affected your job other than not being able to go to those social um, gatherings?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like there's a lot of things that I also kind of planned on doing once getting into real estate that's definitely changed. Like well, a big like way for new agents to generate business is to do things like obviously like those networking things are really big. Also like holding open houses for other agents or themselves if they can get listings.
Right.
Um and do things even like door knocking and like just things like that, which are kind of all off the table for me. So, because the council has put a hold on open houses right now, so we
Mhm.
can't do any open houses, which kind of sucks. Um, so no open houses. I mean, I can't really door knock right now because people
Yeah.
probably be like, why are you like at my door in the middle of a pandemic? So I
Yeah,
don't
that
wanna
would be
come across
weird.
yeah, I wouldn't want to come across as insensitive, so I can't do that. And yeah, and just like showings are totally different too.
Yeah.
Because you have to like put on like when you go to showings, you're only supposed to have like the people that would be on title for the transaction to come with you. Um, and you need to put on like booties and gloves and masks and sanitize and yeah, and sign COVID waivers before you some agents make you sign COVID waivers, some don't. But no matter what you do, it's very strict. Like no children at showings right now.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I've definitely had to try and get more creative with what I want to do, and I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a thing that I'm still just trying to figure out like what is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it definitely has affected it a lot. So I'm interested to see though once COVID is kind of over, how different it'll be, like how different my job will be, like all the different opportunities I might have to do different things in the field. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's really cool. And with being, um, is it with being a real estate agent, is it commission based or is it salary or is
It's
it kind of
commission.
both? Is
Yeah,
it?
it's fully commission. Yeah. So yeah, so you don't get paid until you get a sale,
Wow.
basically. Yeah. So different
COVID
brokerages.
could affect that too, I guess.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, absolutely. That's another thing is that COVID's also just completely affected the market and it's turned
Mhm.
it on its head.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough to meet new clients. Obviously, the market is insane right now. So everything is definitely a bit more of an uphill battle than it already was going to be. And it
Yeah.
was already going to be like real estate's not an easy business to get into.
Yeah,
Um,
being new in it.
yeah, being new in it. Yeah. But so every brokerage has different because brokerages usually do like they charge you monthly fees, so dependent on like some brokerages you might have your own office, you might have a shared office, you might not have an office at all.
Mhm.
But dependent on all of those things you have monthly fees, so you have like desk fees, you have marketing fees, you have board fees like just to be a part of the MLS. So different brokerages kind of have different plans for agents. So you can usually either pay upfront, which is like anywhere from like $1,000 to like 1,500 a month for your office and all of your fees and stuff. Or you can do a commission split, which is what I'm doing.
Mhm.
So when I do get a sale, I'll pay a percentage of that sale to my office, and I'll cap out at a certain amount. But so it kind of saves me from having to pay out of my pocket to work there every month, which is
Yeah.
really, really nice because I can't even imagine like an extra $1,500 on top of life and on
Yeah.
all my other bills would just be crazy. And when you're not bringing any, like virtually anything in for the first little while, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm happy that I'm doing the commission split. So I'm not having to pay to work there monthly. But yeah, I definitely tried to go into it with a good amount of money saved up
Right.
just because I like had no idea when I would get a sale. And yeah, it's tough, it's crazy, but it also kind of forces you to want to like work harder and do
Yeah.
better because like you have to.
Mhm.
And it's also a nice thing too because if once you do become more established, like you don't have an income cap, so your income will directly reflect on just how hard you're working and how much you're putting into yourself and your business. So it's really nice in that sense, and a lot of people I think are drawn to that too, like well, if I work hard I'll make more money.
Exactly. Yeah.
But one day, like when it is more like that and I have more steady business, it'll be really nice. And that is also obviously why I got into the business too, because it's nice to think that, yeah, like your hard work will reflect in that sense.
Yeah, not many jobs have that reflection.
No,
Usually, like I'm on salary. It doesn't matter if I work 7 days a week or if I work
yeah,
three. You're still getting paid the same. So, yeah,
yeah,
it's really
exactly.
awesome. You can
Mhm.
work hard or you can take some time off or whatever you're.
Yeah, that's another thing too that I think a lot of people are drawn to the business for is like the flexibility around it because you
Mhm.
are technically just considered you're self-employed. So if I wanted to like work really, really hard for 6 months of the year and like be happy with my income, I could just like take 6 months off. If I
Yeah,
want, if I wanted to, and I could just like go travel and come back and my job would still be there.
right.
So a lot of
That's
people and
awesome.
like people that have kids and stuff like that, it allows them to like you make your own schedule.
Yeah.
So and some people do it part time just for like stuff on the side. Some people work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's totally depends.
Yeah.
But
Do you normally work like just 5 days a week or do you kind of pick away at it every day? Or-
um, I go into the office 5 days a week.
Yeah.
So my office hours are like 8:30 to 4:30. But I usually end up doing work related things every day,
Mhm.
which I don't know, it just happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, I just like want to put my phone down and like I don't want to like reply to emails and whatever. But it's also part of my job to just kind of be aware and be available at any time.
Mhm.
And also so many people, their available time is like evenings and weekends. So if they want to
Yeah.
go and view places or whatever, that's the time that they can do it.
Right.
So sometimes I get weekends off and I can just like relax on Saturday, Sunday, but then some days I'm also busy all day. So
Yeah.
it totally depends.
Yeah.
But I'm used to it, like working in the restaurant industry. I was always working
Right.
weekends and stuff anyway.
And
So
nights. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of like whatever. I don't mind. I like my job, so it's okay.
Yeah. Well, that's super cool. That's exciting. I know I've kind of thought about it before about maybe getting into it, but
Mhm.
it is a hard time to get into it, especially right now. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's really interesting.
I've actually had a lot of people, like way more people than I ever would have thought, reach out to me, like taught, like asking how I got into it and stuff, which is really, really cool. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I never really like thought about it, but I've had quite a few people that will like after I said that I got into it and whatnot that have DM'd me and been like, "Hey, like I'm thinking about it. Like, what's your advice? Like, how do I get into it? Like, what's my first step?" And which I actually love. Like, I love that people reach out to me and like want to know these things, and I think it would be super cool. Like, the more people I know in the business, like the better. And I know, like, I think some agents find it like I mean, some people find it a competitive job, but I'm definitely more of like a work together type person. So I'm like, yeah, join the business. Like,
Yeah.
let's do it.
More the merrier.
Yeah, the more the merrier. Why not?
Yeah.
Actually, Emma Kaiser just passed her exam too.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Is
so
he
I've
in
been
the same broker as you?
no, she's with Remax.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
And
she
her
will be.
dad is a real estate agent too, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So she's been in the course for a bit, and she Snapchatted me the other day and was like, "I'm doing my exam," and I was like, "You got it," and she got it. So I'm excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I
Mhm.
think, and what right now, I guess, is it an online course
Yeah.
for real
So
estate?
it's yeah, it's all online. It's through UBC Sauder. Um and I think if you're in Vancouver, you can do it in person. Like they
Yeah.
have actual classes and whatnot. But you can also do the whole thing online. So you basically like when I signed up, I basically just got like a big box in the mail of like my textbooks and my workbooks and stuff like that, and then you have like just everything online, so you basically just like read your textbook and like do assignments, but your textbook is like enormous.
Yeah.
It's huge.
And is
So
it's kind of at your own pace? Is that what you were saying earlier? You can do
yeah, yeah, you can
less
definitely,
assignments or more?
yeah, it's like it's at your own pace within a certain time frame. So
Right.
I think that you can only submit a maximum, I think, of like 2 assignments per week or 1 assignment per week or something like that. But there's 28 assignments, something like that. So it ends up, even if you were to do the maximum amount, you still would have like a minimum of like 4 or 5 months, I think.
Right.
Um, but you can also do one a week or none a week and then whatever. But I think only have I think you have up to 2 years to get it done, or maybe up to, or no, you have up to 1 year to get your assignments completed. And
Right.
then from completion of your assignments, I think you have like another year to do your exam. So,
Okay.
which is a lot of leeway because you can definitely get it done in shorter amount of time. And some people just go for it like full force, full time, and can get it done in like 4 months. But like me, I worked all the time on the side. So it took me about a year, which is still really not bad in retrospect to
Yeah.
like need a whole program in a year is really not too bad.
Yeah, that's really not that bad. And yeah, the fact that you can work at the same time is
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was a really big thing too. That's nice that I was able to work, well, I was able to work beforehand, like before getting into the course and after, so I didn't have to take out any student loans or anything like that. So that's huge. Also going into it without debt is really amazing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it not being that long of a program. So it's not too bad.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
pretty easy to get into, I guess, if you put your heart to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. And do you have to get approved for the program or you just sign up? Like,
Um,
you don't need a
I think you
minimum
basically
or
just
anything?
I want to say I think you need a decent mark in English. You definitely need to have graduated high school.
Right.
And I want to say you have to have a decent mark in English, but I could be wrong. You might just have to have a diploma from high
Right.
school, and
Yeah.
then kind of yeah. I think you just kind of apply and then you get accepted. Like I think basically everyone gets accepted.
Yeah.
that has graduated high school, you have to take an English language proficiency exam
Okay.
before you take your main exam, but it's like fifth grade English.
Yeah, I
So
think I've done one of those before. Yeah,
that
it's pretty easy.
I think it's like I think a lot of people move to Canada and try and do
Mm,
the course that maybe don't have very good English. So I think
right.
that's a big reason why. I don't know if it's mandatory in all the provinces. I know it's mandatory in BC to get it done, but like I said, like it was like a $400 exam, and I had to go to Victoria for it, and it's basically like speaking, writing, listening, and whatever. And I'd be like, look at this photo of this park. Is the man doing? And I have to like speak into a little microphone and be like, he's riding a bike. then and then you get
Okay,
rated like out of 12 or something on each component of writing and speaking and listening and
right.
whatnot. Which is funny because I actually got the worst mark on my speaking.
And you're speaking.
Yeah. Which was funny. Like I think I got like 12s, and for my speaking I got like a 9. And I was like,
Oh, you're not good at speaking English.
apparently not. Like at least I passed it, but I was like, what? Like I wonder if my microphone was just bad or something like that.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you or something.
I don't know. I
That's
don't know.
weird.
But yeah, so I think you can basically kind of just get into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, that's really cool. Thanks for talking to me about it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, I love talking about real estate, so I'm always I'm always happy. Like when people are like, "Oh, I want to pick your brain." I'm like, "Okay, let's
Sure.
talk about it." Because I like,
Yeah.
yeah, because I love it, obviously. So I'm always open to chatting about it.
Yeah, I think it's helpful too, just to talk to have options, right? And
Mhm,
know the way of how you got into it and how it
mhm,
works.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I always like tell people to like, because sometimes when it gets brought up that I'm in it, people will be like, "Oh, I'm thinking about buying a house like in a few years. Like, can I talk to you about it?" And I'm like, "Of course." Like I love that too when people reach out to me for that. And it's good to also just have an idea ahead of time, even if it's not something that you want to do for like like 1 year, 5 years, whatever it is. It's kind of nice to have an idea of how you want to go about the process of buying a home or selling your home or whatever it is, because it is a process. So
How do you like what do you say to that when somebody says I want to buy a house in like 2 or 3 years? What are some things that you tell them?
um there's a few things. I mean, I would definitely say to if it's a year out or a decent amount of time, I would definitely say to work on building up your credit,
Mhm.
because your credit rating will definitely have an impact on how much you're approved for. So working on your credit is a really good place to start, and just making sure that you're not making any late payments or taking out any huge loans, because they also, when a mortgage broker will calculate how much they're going to lend to you, they take into consideration all of your current debts, your credit score, all of these things. So if someone's going to like want to buy a house soon, I usually say try not to like buy a brand new car right
Right.
before, because that'll show up as a debt. So then you'll get approved for less because they'll think you can pay less for your monthly mortgage payment. So yeah, I'd say like work on your credit score. Be careful of like what debts you're getting yourself into
Mhm.
close to that time, because that'll also reflect.
How
Um,
close? Like within the last couple years they'll look at or
Um,
like if
well, they look at all current debt that
okay.
you yeah, so, like, for me right now, I guess my only debt would be, my car payment, but they
Right.
would take that into consideration as long as you have that payment
Okay.
coming out, yeah, and then for some people, you have, like, a student loan and a line of credit and a car payment, and
Mhm.
yeah, it all adds up. And it's funny, like, because even if you pay, like, 2 grand for rent, they might not give you 2 grand for of, like, they might not think that you can pay 2 grand a month in mortgage.
Right.
It all depends on like your annual income, and they usually take an average of like, I want to say, a couple years of your annual income. And
Mhm.
then, yeah, I don't know. That's more mortgage broker stuff, but but
Yeah.
yeah, I always just say just to like work on your credit score and think about what things you want versus what you need, like what area you want to live in. Just have a good, like, realistic foundation of what you're looking for and what you want, and then just set yourself so you can set yourself up for success when you do start looking. Because when you start looking and you're already pre-approved, you know how much money you're going to be lent, you know what maximum monthly mortgage payment you're comfortable with, you know what area you want to live in, you know what you absolutely need in a home, then it's like perfect. So you can just narrow it down and not waste any time. And
Right.
a lot of people get into it too, and they're like, I haven't gotten pre-approved yet, but I think I'll get a pre-approved for like 500,000 and I'll live anywhere, but like I need a triple car garage. And I'm like, okay, I think we need to like reevaluate what
Yeah.
we're doing here. So that's usually like the advice that I would give.
So the process is somebody goes to a mortgage broker and then gets pre-approved before
Mhm.
coming to see you.
Yeah. I mean, you can definitely like you can definitely come and see me or chat with me anytime or any realtor.
Yeah.
But the first smart step is definitely to get pre-approved. That
Yeah.
way you're just, like I said, not wasting any time, like, or setting unrealistic expectations, like thinking like, oh, I make good money, so I should be able to get pre-approved and, buy a really nice 5-bedroom home, but then you realize your credit's not that good or
Mhm.
whatever it is, and then you can only afford 300,000, and all of a sudden you're now looking at townhouses when you've been expecting something else.
Right.
So I always tell people like that's definitely a good place to start, is
Mhm.
getting pre-approved and then chatting with a realtor about what you might want to look for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And are
Yeah.
you do you own a house yet?
No, I don't own a house yet. I mean, Dawson and I want to buy, I mean, Dawson really wants to buy a house.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I do too, but it's also, it's tough because obviously we want to buy it together. And right now, me just getting into a new job that's commission based is like,
Yeah, I guess maybe commission based would be hard with the to be get pre-approved because you don't know how much you're making, right?
exactly, yeah. So when with realtors getting pre-approved to buy a home, I'm pretty sure they take your average annual income of 3 years. So
Okay.
every year they'll just take the average of it and then kind of consider that as your annual income.
Right.
Um, but so me only being in it for like 5 months is
Yeah.
like
Takes a few
I
it'll
I
take a few
I
years.
basically, yeah, I basically wouldn't even be there for the pre-approval.
Yeah.
That's kind of tough. And obviously like we want to be able to contribute like 50-50 into everything.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. Hopefully that's like a maybe next year goal.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, Dawson's like he works out in Alberta now, so he has like his income's the exact same all
Yeah.
the time. So if he was to go to a mortgage broker, they'd be like, okay, sure,
Yeah.
here you go. But it would be a little bit different for me. So I don't know. We'll see. I hope to own a home soon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, you'd
it's
have
kind of
an inside scoop with all the listings and everything.
yeah, exactly. I'll be like, ooh, and I think about that sometimes too. I'm like, realistically, I could go and just like look at any house I wanted to, because
Yeah.
I could just, like make an appointment and be like, want to view it for or whatever it is, and I'm like, I could do that, but then that'd be kind of weird because they'd be like, how did the showing go? Did your clients like it? And I'd be like,
I
yes,
like
yeah,
it.
I loved it personally. I'll
Yeah.
get back to you about them.
It's all socially distanced now anyways, no one would know.
Yeah, oh, it is. Like it's all like over the phone. Like you just make appointments. There's something called Touch Base that like all the agents use. So if you want to book an appointment to view a home, you basically just go into your Touch Base and send them a showing request or whatever. So they would have no idea.
Yeah.
But I would feel kind of weird. I thought about that when I went to Whistler last year and I was like, "Oh, should I like book some appointments and go look at these like $40 million houses?"
Oh my
But
goodness.
I was like, but then
So
if they like
cool.
look me up, they'll be like, "Who is this girl?" Like just started in real estate, doesn't work here, and is showing houses here.
Is there some kind of like regulation thing with real estate agents where you have like a number or something and you're all in like a registry or something where they have to check
Um,
your standing, or is there any kind of regulation with that?
like how like for like contact purposes with each other type of thing, or
Um,
or
like I'm not sure. Like for healthcare workers, you
yeah,
all have a number, and if
yeah.
anything like bad happened with you or
Oh,
anything like that, then you have a standing with them. Is there any
okay.
kind of
Oh,
like real estate
yeah.
standing?
Not really a standing, but we do all have license numbers. So
Right.
you can basically look into every agent. Like there's different websites too. There's like Rate My Agent and I think just on like our personal like MLS portal type things, I think you can look up any agent and look at like all of their sales. You can look at
Hmm.
all of their listings, everything. And then if any agent gets in trouble, I think it's public knowledge too. Like like the real estate council takes those sorts of things very, very seriously. So if an agent is ever investigated for something, um, like I've seen like we'll get like newsletters from the board that'll be like, this person of whatever brokerage is suspended or something, which is crazy. But
That'd be
yeah,
so
there's
embarrassing.
yeah, oh my god, I know. Like if I can't even imagine that. Like if I was to accidentally do something and then someone called me on like a breach of ethics and then me be investigated and
Yeah.
oh god, stressful. Yeah, but we pay into an insurance corporation every year to
Mm.
protect us for like legal fees because people get sued.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, which is nice. Yeah, but it's very easy, I guess. Which is I think it's good. It's definitely good to hold people accountable and especially like in my position, there's people that are dealing with such large sums of money and you want to make sure that everyone is ethical in their business practice and is doing the right thing and all those things, but it's very easy that if a client or someone feels like you did something that was maybe a little shady or unethical or a breach of anything, they would just basically call the council and the council will do conduct an entire investigation into you. Like they would look through all your emails, texts, everything. And you could totally get sued by people too.
Right.
They
Yeah.
really like in the course they really drill that into you. That
Yeah.
like you can get sued and you can go to jail for 15 years if you do this. So don't do it.
Very
So yeah, I know. Like I mean, I don't think I think I know people that have gotten sued. Like I definitely know some agents that have like been a part of things, you know, that were just maybe misunderstandings or accidental
right.
things. But I don't know anyone that's like gone to jail or anything like that. But I think it's just trying to like instill the fear in you that like you are dealing with legal documents every day and you are dealing with like hundreds of thousands of dollars and all of this stuff is very serious. So take
Mhm.
it seriously.
Yeah, it's difficult business if you made a mistake or something or
Yeah. Well, they do like really like it. There's so many little things that you could do, like just the way you advise your clients to do certain things, and you could definitely be held accountable for everything you say and do. Oh, sorry, my cat just knocked over my water. but but yeah, it can be pretty scary. So I'm very careful with all of that sort of thing.
yeah, what you say and yeah.
Yeah. Even having conversations about real estate and about like I think in there's a few chapters of the course too that basically say, you know, like if like you're drunk, don't talk about real estate or
Yeah.
if you're if you don't know the answer to something, be like, don't take my word for this, but
Yeah.
or something like that just to kind of protect you, yeah, against giving like false information and stuff like that. Not that I think that I would ever have a conversation like with a friend and say something and then they'd be like false, like I relied on that information and now I'm suing you for that,
Yeah.
but
Just in case.
just in case, yep. Just in
Talk
case,
about it when you're at a party or anything.
yeah, say I'm drunk and do not rely on this information, but you should buy a house.
Yeah. You should do this.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly.
Well, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Well, why
Mm.
don't you tell people where they can find you or come talk to you or uh,
Um,
yeah,
well, I mean, you can find me on a lot of places. I'm definitely really trying to build up. Definitely really trying to build up like my social media, like my Instagram and my Facebook page. I'm probably more active on my Facebook page right now than my Instagram, but I think both of those is just Taylor Weston Real Estate
okay.
on both. I'm also building in the process of building a website. It's live, but there's a lot of kinks I want to iron out, and that's also taylorweston.ca.
Are you
And yeah,
making
and I
the
think if you,
website?
hmm?
Are you making the website yourself?
No, I've hired, or I haven't hired, I guess I've signed up for something called My Real Page, which is kind of a real estate dedicated website service.
Right.
So I've chosen template, but you kind of just want to customize everything, and everything's customizable, but I'm not super tech savvy. So
Yeah.
it's like a slow process because I'm also a perfectionist and I want everything to look super nice. But
Yeah.
then it like stops me because I'm like, oh, this isn't perfect and I'll get discouraged. But you can still go to that website and you can still do searches for homes and stuff like that on that website.
Cool.
And it'll only get better.
Yeah.
So that's good. And yeah, honestly, and I think on I don't know if I have it in my Instagram bio, but I think if you look me up, you can basically find like my phone number and my email and everything. I think it's also on my website for sure, or on royallepage.ca's website under agents.
Right.
So I'm kind of, yeah, I'm reachable by everything: Facebook, Instagram, phone, email, fax.
All right.
I'll take.
Perfect. Well, thanks for chatting today.
Yeah, of course. No,
Yeah.
it was really good to chat with you. Honestly, like there's even more I want to know about like your podcast and stuff, but maybe I'll just send you a message and we can chat about it off here.
Sure. Well, if you have questions for me, go ahead, actually.
Oh,
What
yeah,
do you
okay.
want?
So yeah, well, there's a few. I guess I can't even think about what. It's not like I had a list, but then I was like, I want to ask about this and this and this. Well, it's really cool that you got into this. Like when I saw that you were starting a podcast, I was like, that's so cool, such a good idea.
Yeah.
Um, and like you're definitely the first. I mean, maybe I like kind of know people that have started, but you're the first person I actually know that
Yeah.
started a podcast. So that's super cool. Um, and I think I wanted to ask you just like I don't know. I guess I was gonna ask like how you got into it and like what like the editing process is like for your podcasts and
Yeah. Well, it's really
I don't
easy.
know. I guess I don't know anything about podcasts, so I was just kind of like wanting to know.
Well, like it's great for businesses if you want to start one that's like a real estate one or something.
Mhm.
I have a Mac computer and the software that I used was already on there.
Cool.
So I don't know what technology you have, but I
Mac.
have you have a Mac.
Yeah.
I use Audacity, which was like free downloadable on my computer.
Mhm.
And then I'll show you. I have a little microphone here that I bought from Best
Okay.
Buy. And then I have this webcam because the webcam on my computer doesn't work.
Okay. Well, probably
Um,
better quality, anyways.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then so yeah, I just record the audio on the Audacity app. And
Mhm.
then I have a podcast. I learned it all from Googling and
Yeah.
YouTubing how to do it. I just kind of
You can learn so much with just
so much.
like you can learn. I feel like I could learn like rocket science if I wanted to just by like watching YouTube videos on
Oh
rocket
my
science.
goodness. I know. I just kind of had this thought kind of late summer. I think it was in September. And I was thinking, because I like to be outdoors and I have a garden and I have all this stuff to
Mhm.
do in the summertime. But then I was thinking, like, winter's coming, summer's ending. What am I
Yeah.
going to do? And
Yeah,
so,
what are you gonna do with your time?
yeah. So, not that I have too much free time, but I thought that, well, and then the whole support local thing right now is so
So big.
bigger than it was even before, just with COVID and everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think COVID really kind of kickstarted more support local. I
Yeah.
think, I mean, it's always been important, obviously, but I think a lot of people maybe just didn't even have like the knowledge about how important it is to support local. And
Mhm.
I think with COVID and a lot of small businesses, being in tough positions, it's really taught people like, that small businesses are working really hard to be here and to
Yeah,
give you what they give you. And I think it's great though. Like that's I guess one good thing that's come out of COVID is the awareness around that.
definitely. I feel like even myself, I wasn't as aware
Mhm.
before COVID. I was less aware of how
But neither was
important
I,
it
yeah.
was.
Yeah.
And then places started to, I saw some places shutting down and there was more posts about local places and
Yeah.
so that just kind of my awareness became more there. And so I thought that I would start that. And so even it doesn't even have to be about a business, just
Yeah.
about like just bringing everyone together. So I thought that that would be kind of my idea, and
Yeah.
everybody loves it, and everybody wants
So
to
that's
be
a
on
great idea.
the
I wish I came up with that idea. I think
podcast.
I think I thought that. I was like, "Oh my god, she started a podcast and it's supporting local and bringing the community together." Like,
It's all in one.
yeah, I know. It's crazy. You're like, "This podcast is the whole package." It
So
looks like
yeah, it's just kind
beautiful.
of like some random idea I had, and so I made up like a title page, and I used this
That's
thing
always how
called
it starts. It's
Buzzsprout.
just an idea.
Yeah,
Like
I didn't know
goes
how to
off.
get it onto iTunes and like all those apps as well.
Yeah, was that a process?
And
Getting it onto
so, well, you have to
Apple?
sign up for a podcast host. So there's lots. There's like SoundCloud. I use this thing called Buzzsprout. And so you
Mhm.
upload your episodes on there and you can schedule them. So a lot of the time, if I have some episodes banked kind of, then I'll just schedule them and I don't even have to, the day it comes out, I don't even have to look at my computer.
Yeah,
So I can schedule it and I do it
that's
every
nice.
Monday. And so yeah, I can do it ahead of time and then it's just done. I just
Yeah,
post on Instagram that day and whatever.
yeah.
And but the on the podcast host website, it makes a website for you for your podcast, which I just was playing around with yesterday. And it also, you can just press all these buttons for Apple podcasts, Spotify, and you can like get
Yeah.
listed. And then like it's on maybe 10 podcast host ones, which I have never even heard of any of the other
Ah,
apps other than Apple
interesting. You
Podcasts.
even have like a whole like website around your podcast.
Yeah, I actually just
That's
linked it in
cool.
my bio yesterday. I was playing around on my computer and because I wanted to make a website. And so I was
Uh-huh.
looking on Google and I was like, how do I make a website?
I
And
know.
so I was like, I don't know how to do this. And so I was doing this template like completely from scratch myself and
Yeah.
I started doing it. And then I was like, oh, I don't know. And I got all frustrated. And
Yeah, that's exactly what I do
I was
too.
like, I don't know. I don't care anymore. And
Yeah.
on the Buzzsprout website, I noticed that there's this website um, tab on there, and you can link your Instagram page, your YouTube page, and so I just put it in the bio of my thing when before I just had a link to the episode.
Yeah.
It's a pretty basic website, but it has all the episodes on
Like
there.
so much potential too. Like
Yeah,
especially with your category of podcasts, like you could really do so much with a website too. Like you could almost even turn it like if you got into like doing website kind of things, you could
hmm,
even turn it into like a hub and like feature like different people's websites on there as well, like different like businesses that you featured and maybe like some of their websites or products or whatever it is. Like you could do so
totally.
much with like
Yeah.
this niche. Like so much.
Yeah, you can totally do that. And so I'd like to, yeah, expand the website eventually. And I
Mhm.
have, it's interesting. I go on and off of kind of promoting it, and then I'm like, then I
Yeah,
back
that's
to
how I
it.
am too.
And then but I posted it on a couple Facebook pages that I'm on, like the
Mm.
Lake Couch and Facebook page and the Shawnigan
Oh
Lake
yeah, like the
Facebook
yeah,
page, just like
yeah.
the whatever random Facebook page for those towns. And I posted it on there. And so many people messaged me. Like I have many people for the next coming weeks. Like I have this lady who wants to do a psychic reading that's from Shawnigan Lake.
That's so cool.
I know. I'm so excited for
That's
that one.
really cool.
She's going to do
I'm
a
excited
psychic reading
for
on
that
the
one.
Zoom page or on the Zoom call that we record, which is so cool. Then like a not-for-profit society.
Yeah.
And yeah, so many people messaged me and were like, "Hey, I'd love to be on the podcast." And so it's turning into, from me reaching out to people, people are reaching out
Yeah.
to me now, which is really nice.
Yeah, which is the goal, right?
Yeah, before I was emailing everybody, and it's a
Yeah.
lot of just kind of work to go into it. I'm on
Yeah.
my phone, I'm messaging people. Instagram's been like the main thing. I like DM everybody on
Yeah.
Instagram and ask them if they want to be on my page. And so it's actually a lot easier now that it's all on Zoom, because before, when I first started, I was
Yeah, did you
driving
have like a
all
studio
around
or something?
and
Oh no, would you go to people then?
yeah,
Oh,
before when I
I'd be
first
more into
started.
that too, actually. If you had like a studio with like, the big table and the microphones
Oh,
and
I would love
the
to.
whole set. Well, also something in the future.
Yeah, well, you can rent podcast rooms out.
I
And
didn't know that
so,
either.
yeah, at this, well, Lucas Gross,
Yeah,
when we did the podcast together, me and him, we did
yeah,
it in a podcast room that was in the um, Quench Collective, I think it's called, in Victoria, where
yeah,
he works out of. It's like a shared office space, and they have a
yeah, yeah. I've seen
that
that.
you
Yeah.
can rent. And so
Is
me
that
and
where he's
him did
doing
it
his
in that
podcast out of?
podcast room. What?
Is that where he's doing his podcast out of?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
So
I haven't talked to him in a while, but I haven't asked him about that. But I was wondering because
it
it
looks like
looks
the
like
same
a
room
good
that him and I
setup.
did it in. Yeah. And it's all
Oh,
set
okay.
up, has microphones and everything. And so it
Oh,
that's an option as well in the future, is to like rent it out. It has like all the soundproofing and whatever they've made it like.
yeah, to
So
make that perfect audio and
I do
perfect.
it I do it in my bedroom because the
Mhm.
it's less echoey. Like if there's cloth and that kind of thing around, rather than like the kitchen
Oh,
table
yeah,
bouncing off of it and everything.
that bouncing
So
off
I
the
choose to do
hardwood.
it in the bedroom just because there's more fabric and less
Mhm.
hard stuff. And so but I used to, when I first started, go to people's homes, and I went to people like a hair salon that the girl owned.
Really?
And so
Oh,
yeah,
that's
I
so
was going,
cool.
which is cool to see everyone's
That's totally cool.
thing.
Yeah.
But
It's just
when
crazy a lot of work for you
yeah,
on top of the editing and the building a business and
yeah.
everything else, also driving around and
Yeah, and
setting
so
up.
and I live in Shawnigan, and a lot of the places were in Victoria, so I like
Yeah.
spend the entire day driving around Victoria doing a bunch of interviews, which it's more fun in person, but I
Mhm.
also like the
I know
Zoom.
I was kind of sad like that. I was like, oh, like I'm looking forward. Like we haven't seen each other since high school.
I know.
So I was like, oh, I'm really looking forward to like seeing you and catching up and everything. Which I mean, this is still the same thing. We're still catching up.
No. I'd love to
But
like, meet up with everyone that I've done Zoom calls with, like when COVID's over, just do like a big
yeah,
podcast party or something.
big podcast party. No, we absolutely should. Like once like obviously restrictions are lifted, we should get together. That would be really
Yeah.
fun.
I know. I wish I could meet. I will meet everybody eventually, I think,
Yeah,
but I'd love to like revisit episodes that I've done over Zoom. But
yeah.
it's nice that I can record the Zoom episodes, which I just started doing like 4 episodes ago. I started to
Oh, to
record the
put them on
Zoom
YouTube.
calls. It used to just be like a phone call or a FaceTime call, and I
Uh,
would just record the audio, but now I have it on YouTube,
yeah.
and um and I
Is it
can
pretty
record
easy?
the Zoom calls. What?
And it's pretty easy just to record the Zoom calls and
It
just.
is. And then I can't really edit the videos that I record on Zoom. I can edit
I
the
guess you can
audio.
edit it for the podcast, but you can't really edit the videos. Yeah.
Yeah, so like it is how it is on YouTube.
Eh,
I tried to edit the video one time and like do like an intro and an outro kind of thing, but
that's a whole nother realm too.
yeah,
Like
to the video, and then I was like, I don't know how to do that. So I just upload the whole video to YouTube. And it is how it is. Whatever you say is stuck on there. But on the audio file, I can like cut things out, and like long pauses, I can cut that out and that kind of
yeah.
thing.
Is it a process? I think that was another thing I was interested in. Like, how long does it usually take you to edit your podcast, and is it a process to do it, or
Well, it's getting better. When I first started, it was it probably took me an hour each episode to edit everything. But I
yeah,
think I'm getting less picky as well. When
yeah,
I first started, I was very picky, and if I said or if I said anything, I
yeah?
would cut it everything out. I'd go through each episode. But now, unless I
That
know,
could be very tedious.
yeah, and so now I'm just kind of more, I don't know, the last few episodes, I just upload them as they are.
Perfect.
Unless there's like a big pause, or if I need to go get a drink or something or
Yeah.
whatever, and there's like a long random pause. But
Mhm.
now I'm less picky, and I think that there's less weird, awkward spaces as well in the interviews.
Well,
So I just upload them as they are.
yeah, and also just getting more comfortable with doing
Yeah,
the podcast. Like, it'll just come way more naturally that you won't even have like you're already kind of edited without having to
exactly.
edit because you're more comfortable. Like you know what you're talking about. You know how it works. So
Yeah, and I think I'm getting more comfortable. It was really weird at first, is totally outside of my
something
comfort
like
zone.
you did like a one with like Cameron and stuff like that at
Yeah,
first. So that must have been nicer to already have someone you have a relationship with, so you can actually like the conversation can flow.
exactly. Yeah, Cameron's was super easy. The
Uh,
first one I did was Marissa, that owns
oh
Allure,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I went to her studio, and that was the very first one I did, and it was so nerve-wracking.
Oh, I bet.
But then the next one was Cameron. It was so easy. We talked
Yeah,
for like 2 hours.
yeah.
I had to cut it down to like an hour and a half. So, but yeah, we talked forever. And so it's getting a lot easier. And I have questions that I've written down. I used to have to like look through a book and like read all these questions out, but now I don't even like look at any questions. So
Yeah.
it's getting a lot easier and less. awkward and I'm not really nervous anymore.
Yeah, that's nice.
So yeah, it's getting easier as time goes by.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
For sure. No, that's it's also it's kind of nice in like the less editing sense is that it's just raw. Like it is like
exactly.
what you see is what you get, and it's not like, you're not cutting out every little thing that's not perfect, and people can actually like see the people's personalities and
Yeah.
sort of thing. So it's nice in that sense too, like toning
Yeah, I
back.
want it to be real as much
Yeah.
as I can. I don't want people to think that we never pause or never take a drink,
Yeah.
or I don't know, like say anything.
Yeah.
So I like that as well. So I'm getting more comfortable with that, it just being raw and real and
Mm.
yeah. So
Oh, that's exciting.
and
Well,
then
I
the
mean,
Instagram side of it is the other part of it, like trying to promote on social media.
yeah.
And so
I
actually I have a call or a interview podcast episode next week with this girl that I'm actually working with to help me with my Instagram growth. I'm
oh, that's
following like her Instagram guide. And so I have a podcast episode about that. She lives in Duncan as well. And so
well,
she does,
that'll be really cool, like for people
yeah.
to
So she
to
does all Instagram growth. That's her business.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's so much. It's so much deeper, I think, than anyone really thinks it is.
Yeah.
Like I when I was working for Mr. Mike's, I also like along with like serving and managing, I also did the marketing
Mm,
for Mr. Mike's. So I ran like the Facebook page and the Instagram and stuff for a while, and I was like, oh, like easy. I'm here all the time. Like I'll just like take pictures and upload them. But
yeah.
it's so much deeper than that. It's not and when you want to be putting out content regularly,
Yeah.
it's a lot to think of the content, shoot the content, edit it, like think of captions for every single thing. Like it, at least for Mr. Mike's, like I knew what I like. I obviously still had to come up with things, but I was like, okay, this is about like staff and it's about food and it's about restaurants and
Mhm.
whatever. But still, like if I had like a couple days off or when I started to study more, I was like really struggling to get the content that I needed. And sometimes I would go in and just like make every different person like pose with like a different menu item. I'd be like, hey, like make me a Caesar and like smile with it. And then I would take like 20 photos in the one day and then edit them. And then, yeah, I would like set them up to be posted regularly. But
Yeah.
way more extensive job than I think than I thought it would
Oh, yeah.
be going into it. And especially now for my own business, like I also am really trying to work more on producing content, but it's tough.
It is tough.
It's really tough. And for me right now, like, because I don't have like a ton of listings or anything like that, it's hard to think of things to post. So that's my struggle right now is I kind of just have like a block of like, what do I post? Like, what do people care about? Like, but then I think you should also kind of let that out the window and be like, okay, this is what I want to post. This is what I'm going to post.
Yeah, I know. And I always want to try and post something new, something I haven't posted about
Yeah.
before. And yeah, I feel like I'm kind of there right now too. Like I feel like I was like on a roll for a little bit and now I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't
I was
know.
definitely also on a roll when I first started because I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
all
It's
this planned out. But now I'm like, what do I do? But I think for me at least, like I think I'm gonna start doing like monthly like stats and stuff like that. Cause I think people, I don't know, I like stats. Some people probably are like, I don't care at all about stats.
good.
But for maybe someone that's interested, it could be good to see like regularly, like if you're planning on buying or selling, seeing how the stats are kind of going monthly. So I think I want to start doing things like that to like hold myself accountable too. So like I'll upload like a monthly stats for Vancouver Island or whatever it
Mhm.
is. And then I also kind of want to highlight things about the Cowichan Valley too, because like obviously like I think it's a great place to live and people are moving here. So maybe like focusing on like cool island hikes and
Yeah.
like cool island hikes and like
Fun here.
cute, yeah, cute coffee shops and like stuff like that. Like, yeah, like business highlights and
That'd be cool.
things to do. Yeah, I have a lot of ideas. It's just executing them.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I've seen some videos, I just random ones on Instagram or TikTok of real estate agents being like having like 5 tips for this or
I
like,
know, I kind of want to start that too.
yeah, I
Just
think it's so
I
interesting when I watch those videos.
Yeah, and those I've seen them on TikTok too, and they usually get a lot of views, like, because I think
People are
people are
interested in,
interested, but people don't a lot of people just have no knowledge about real estate. Like, it's not
yeah,
something like you don't learn about it in school, like, unless you know someone that's either, like, bought or sold or is a realtor, like, where are you gonna learn about it? I
yeah,
had no idea about it until I got into it.
yeah,
So, I think that it does catch people's attention, but I've just never been I don't know, I've never been someone that's always posting.
yeah,
Like I do every once in a while, but like I don't know. I've just never been someone that's constantly like, "Hey, got to get a picture for Instagram or got to do this." So, it's kind of reframing my mindset being like, "Okay, like this is for like work and it's very important to put out content if you're trying to grow your business."
yeah.
It's a learning curve for me, for sure, because I've never been a big social media person, but
Yeah, and yeah, I don't even post on my personal
no,
pages.
I post like 3 times a year.
Yeah, I know. I
Maybe
don't even post. My personal pages are all
my
about my
personal page has like 10 posts.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's usually like I do like an anniversary post like once
yeah,
a year for me and Dawson because I don't know, I'll like find a picture that we took or like maybe something fun I did at some point. But it's I don't know. And I'm also like I'm always like a live in the moment type of person that I don't always when I'm doing something I'm not like wait a minute, let's get a picture first.
yeah.
Like I've never really like thought like that. Like I'm always like, yeah, just being in the moment, being present, like trying not to be on my phone a ton. And then after I'm like, oh, I have no pictures of anything I do.
I know.
And then I don't post at all. And I'm like, whatever, I'm a ghost. It's fine.
I know.
But I
I've tried to like since starting the podcast try to take more videos because I have a lot of pictures, but I don't have a lot of videos.
yeah.
I started to take more videos and more
I
pictures.
think you've been doing really good though. Honestly, like I see your I mean, I follow you, like I follow you and I follow your podcast account and everything. But I feel like I see it often, like, and it's this the whole staying top of mind. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter really as much what you're posting. It's just that you are posting,
Yeah,
and
how often?
yeah, and you're just staying top of mind, and it's something that people are seeing. So for you,
Yeah.
like, the more people see your post, the more they're like, "Oh, I got to check out that podcast."
Yeah, I've seen some posts about the algorithm on Instagram and like if you're
Yeah.
not posting regularly, then not as many people. Like you think, okay, I have this many followers, so that many people will see my post, but that's not it
No,
actually.
it's
And
crazy. Even if you look at how many followers you have versus how many people view your stories,
yeah.
that says a lot too. Like I have I don't know, not that many. I don't know, like let's say like 1,000 followers, but it'll be like 200 people will view my stories or
Yeah.
something. That's so I'm like, there's like a solid 1,000 people that just are not even. It
Because
does like
some of the stories I see are like celebrities or people that
yeah,
are,
they're the ones that pop up first.
yeah, that you watch them and then you shut it off, and then
Yeah,
the
I watch
people
like
that
two, and
you
I'm like,
actually know are like
yeah,
way down the line.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, and I've too. Instagram has a new feature where you can kind of see like, it'll say like most shown on feed, and then like a least interacted with. And
Yes.
I've actually noticed that some of my most shown on feed are the people I interact with the least
Huh.
because it's random dog accounts and like
Yeah.
Kylie Jenner and like just like like food accounts or
Yeah.
something. So because I'm not scrolling being like nice picture of pancakes, like nice, like I'm not liking all of these things, so I'm not interacting. So
Yes.
the things that are getting shown in my feed the most are my least interacted with.
Hmm.
And like,
They're trying to get you to see it or something.
yeah, probably. And or it also could be because these accounts are posting like multiple times a day.
Right.
So I'm gonna see those before I'm gonna see like a friend's post. Which
Yeah.
is which is so stupid. And I don't like that it also doesn't go by like time anymore. It's just like
No.
this post from 4 days ago, and I'm like, why do I care about this post? Why didn't you just show me this 4 days ago? And then not show me again?
I know, it's so bizarre. I don't understand it either. And I'm trying to like research it and I watch YouTube videos about
Yeah.
like trying to learn about how it works because I never really put much thought into it. When it's just my personal account, I didn't care how many likes
Well,
or how many followers or
yeah,
whatever. So yeah, it's interesting to learn about that.
yeah, for sure. I learned a lot about that when I was doing the stuff for Mr. Mike's, and it is crazy, just like the stats of how to get more people to interact with your photos, like what you can include in photos that get more engagement,
Mhm.
like the hashtags that you're using. You can even, I think, like pinpoint on Facebook. Like you can put a post out, and I think if you're promoting it, you can pinpoint an area that you'd like it to show up in. So like,
Yeah.
it just again goes so deep.
I
Um,
haven't really done much with Facebook or promoting on Facebook, but I
yeah,
kind of revamped I had a social locals Facebook page, but I never really did anything with it. So I kind of did that
I,
yesterday.
I liked it yesterday.
I was yeah,
Yeah.
I like put it out to all my Facebook friends yesterday, and I like put new stuff on there yesterday. And so, but that I have never done any kind of like promoting on Facebook, so I'm not really sure what.
Facebook, I think, can be like a really useful tool, but it also depends on the demographic you're targeting, right? Like,
Right.
if you're doing, I mean, I don't like, see, I've actually done more, like, I think when I was doing it for the restaurant, it was more Facebook oriented. Like, but that was like the demographic that we were kind of going for is like people that are on Facebook.
Right.
Um, so I know a bit about like promoting it on there. I actually don't know too much about Instagram, but like yeah, like it's just proven that there's an older crowd on Facebook and a younger crowd on Instagram
Right.
and all that sort of thing. So yeah, it totally depends on the demographic that you're trying to reach. And yeah, like what time you post depends on what age group you're just gonna see your posts and
Exactly. Yeah,
right.
and there's analytics on the Instagram settings or whatever where you can go
Oh
in.
yeah, I never look at those, but I know about them. Yeah.
Yeah, and it tells you like what's your most interacted time and that kind of thing. And so
You should look
like
at those.
mine was like 9 a.m. and I was like, right, great. Like right when I'm getting to work, like I'm not posting at 9 a.m.
Yeah, and that seems so weird too because
Why would
like
it be so popular at 9 a.m.?
yeah, like I remember in like high school, if I was gonna post on Instagram, I'd be like, hey, I gotta post at like 8 p.m. or whatever time I
Yeah,
thought like
everyone's, like
people
on
were
their
on
phone.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I mean, I don't really know now. Actually, I think when I was looking into it when I was doing it for the restaurant, it was noon.
Yeah.
Noon, like the time.
Which
Like
seems so weird too.
it seems so weird because you think people are eating lunch and they're at work and they're
Yeah.
not scrolling Facebook. But I mean, I guess people scroll Facebook at any time,
I guess when they're
realistically.
eating their lunch.
Yeah, just eating their lunch, eating their salad, and looking through Facebook.
Yeah, I guess so. So, yeah, it's so interesting to learn about all that, and it's still a work in progress, but it's definitely getting um more attention lately. And I signed up for this um I forget what it's called, some kind of thing because it's so hard to see how well your podcast is doing. You can only
Yeah,
tell
I've seen
how
you
many.
post about that.
Yeah,
Like how you can only, so you can't see views or
no,
listen. Not at all.
I have no idea how many people listen.
Well, that's so that would frustrate me. I'd be like,
It's
I want to know how many people are tuning into this.
And so the only way I have is if somebody downloads it, which there's so many ways to listen to it without downloading it.
Yeah. And I don't even think, I've never even thought to download a podcast. I'll go download every episode, bring up the ratings.
If you download it and then just, I don't know, you could delete it
You're
after.
also gonna get like 50 downloads. It's all me.
Perfect. And so, yeah, it's like, it's so weird how there's such little information about it. But I signed up
Yeah.
for this thing and it sends me an email every day. I think it's called Podcaster or something. And it only tells you on the Apple podcast charts where you are,
Okay.
or if you have any new reviews or ratings and that kind of thing. And so I just signed up for it this past week, and it was like 100 number 130 on the comedy interview charts the other day in
Is that
Canada.
for like, I was okay. Yeah. So it's for Canada.
And
That's
then
really good.
it went
Like
up
so
to
crazy.
60, and then it went up to 44 yesterday.
Oh my God, that's so
So
fast.
in Canada, I know.
And that's actually a really high rating. Like I would think that like if I was to start a podcast, I'd be like, oh, I'm probably gonna be like 500 or
I
something.
know. I had no idea
Oh,
that this was even going on. And so I just signed up
oh,
for it this week, and it sends me an email every day. And I'm like, oh, interesting.
that's so cool.
I know. So I'm getting more information as I kind of learn about these things
Yeah.
that I can sign up for.
Mhm.
But like, it's pretty basic information that you get. I can't tell. I wish I could tell how many people listen to it. It's
See,
so
that would be cool to find out how many people. That would also be good to see like which ones of your podcasts are like getting really good engagement. Like, and a lot of people are tuning in, and then you can think like, what is it about that podcast that made so many people tune in?
well, exactly.
But
And
that's
like
you can't find that out.
the top podcasts in the I can see how many people, the most downloaded ones, and like Cameron's is the top downloaded one at
Oh,
160 downloads.
that seems really good too.
And then Liam's is 128. And
Yeah,
then
listen, I listened to
this is so
like,
funny. Not the
yeah.
one me and him did the other day, but just the one about him by himself.
Yeah, I loved how he I loved him talking about how like his parents were going camping. He stayed at a hotel. Like he was like, "No, I'm actually not really I don't really like the sand. I'm more of a five-star bitch." I was like, I love that. I love Liam.
So funny. Oh my God. I love doing podcasts with him. He's so
No, that it was so funny. I was like, he's just such a fun, like, it reminded me. I like he's one of those people that every time I see him, like, let's get together and let's hang out, and then we just never do. But
I
I
know.
I should reach out.
I haven't seen him since like high school either. And so, yeah, but it was so much fun, and just getting back to talking about talking to people from high school too, like talking to Liam and talking to you and talking to Lucas and like all
Yeah,
these
I was
people
gonna
that
say
we
that.
probably would have never chatted or like maybe
Yeah,
eventually would have met up, but like we
who knows?
probably wouldn't have talked about your real estate business or anything like that.
Yeah,
So, yeah, it's interesting.
it's really cool. No, for sure. Like, and I think about that about like when we have a reunion one day, like because
Yeah.
honestly, we graduated with like 300 people or something, and think about how many people you talk to in high school that like you have not seen since
Mhm.
high school. Like, I mean, just being in like still in Duncan, there's definitely still a lot of people. Like, I run into people every once in a while, but it's like kind of like when you like at Walmart and you're like, oh
Yeah.
hey, how's it going?
Yeah, it's
You're
kind
just
of
like, I don't
awkward.
want to be a part of this conversation. But it'd be different if you were like doing something like this where we can
Mhm.
actually like sit down and chat and catch up. And
Yeah.
yeah, like it's cool. I'm interested to know like what people are up to and things like that. I'm excited for when we have a reunion. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, is the first one 10 years? Is that when it is?
I think so. I
Mm,
don't know. Do people do 5 year? I don't think so. I feel
yeah.
like I feel like it's like on the 10-year marks. Like it's like a 10 and 20 and a 30.
Yeah, like who even organizes those?
That's what I was just about to say. Who's it gonna be that's gonna organize it?
Organize one?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, should we organize it?
For 2026?
Oh
Not
my
that far
god,
away.
that's so crazy to think about.
You
I
know,
can't believe we graduated 5 years ago in June.
goodness, that's
I don't,
insane.
even-
It doesn't
I
feel like 5 years ago.
don't even want to think about that. It makes me feel old. It makes me feel like I'm like back in my day in high school.
Back when I graduated.
Back in my day, I did.
So
I,
thankful that we got a regular graduation. Like these poor kids right now that are
I know.
graduating. I don't know what they're doing, probably all virtual and that kind of thing. But I'm so thankful that we had a regular experience with that.
Even like, was it the year before us where there was like a teacher strike? I feel like we're not even talking about podcast things now. We're just talking about random things. But wasn't it? I think it was like a year before us, or maybe two. Do you remember there was a big teacher strike, and like we didn't go back to school until like October or something. And I remember those grads being a little bit upset because their grad year was a little funky because of the strike. There
Right.
was like volunteers and stuff like that. And I remember being like, oh, hopefully it's over by our year.
Yeah. Yeah. We got a regular grad year. I don't think anything got in our way. Yeah. We had like all the,
And we were able to do like I heard they don't even have wet grad anymore. I don't think.
really?
I think something happened at one of the wet grads. I don't know for sure.
Pretty weird that it's organized by all the parents that we
Yeah.
go and get drunk.
Well,
It's
I know
weird
that's why
times
like
and
I
all
kind
that.
of understand like if something was to go down at a
Something
wet
probably
grad,
went wrong.
something probably went down. Yeah, and there's so much that could like I think our year was organized pretty well.
Yeah.
Like they had, like they were monitoring our alcohol intake and we had like fun games and like the barbecue and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Our bike ride was pretty cool, but
Yeah, it was so fun. It was just like a big fire and we all just
I
hung.
love that there was no phones at the
Yeah.
time. I love that because there was just a big fire and people were all dancing and
Yeah.
setting
It
up the
was fun.
fire and playing beer pong and whatever. And it was really cool because I think at our wet grad, I probably had so many more conversations that again I probably wouldn't have if there was phones and
Mhm.
things were different. But it was so like everyone was just hanging out. There was no like I don't know, weird groups or anything. Like everyone kind of just hung out that night and it was really fun.
Yeah, I feel like at both of those, like the wet grad and the dry
And
grad,
the
because
dry
I have
grad, the dry grad
phones.
was actually a lot of fun too.
Dry grad was fun until I got so overtired that I
I
felt
was
sick.
by the time that we had, like, the hypnotizing, I was like,
Oh,
"Can I
yeah.
leave?"
I'm tired. I
Yeah.
don't want to I remember by the time my mom picked me up the next morning, I was like, "Just don't even talk to me." I'm so
Yeah.
tired.
Oh, and I remember too when we did the, like, the raffle for
Yeah.
the things. I remember I was there till, like, the very end because I think I put a raffle in for, like, a purse or something, and it was, like, between, like, me and one other person, and I was like, "I don't even want it anymore."
Just never mind.
5 in the morning. At first, it was really fun, and then I think I
Yeah.
was so tired.
Yeah, like, staying up all night is
Yeah.
really hard for me to do.
Yeah, me too. I like my sleep.
Yeah,
I
so
remember,
I'm
like,
just feeling
that's
so
the
sick.
yeah, and there was, like, the psychic thing
Yeah.
too. Did you do that?
I don't know. I don't even remember. I think I did.
I remember wanting to, and I remember
I
standing in
know
line
the
for so
line. I don't know
long.
if I actually went in there.
I know I stood in line. I didn't end up going in, but I remember I didn't go in because I stood in line for probably, like, an hour and a half, just hanging with whoever was in line, and then I guess the psychics were like, "We haven't gotten paid yet," and they stopped doing it.
Yeah, maybe that's what happened to me. I feel like I remember standing in line forever and looking
Yeah,
in there and being like, "Okay."
and seeing all the little tables. But yeah, I guess they were like, We haven't gotten paid yet," and they kind of were just like they just got paid and were like, "We're done at 10 o'clock. Bye bye." And I was like, I just stood in line for like an hour and a half, and you're not gonna read my palm?
Yeah, that's so
So
weird.
pissed.
I know, it was a really weird night because yeah, I don't like staying up all night, and I remember being, like, nervous about it. I was like, "Oh my
Mhm.
goodness, I have to stay up all night," and
Yeah, I get the same way. If I'm overtired, I get nauseous.
me too.
Like,
I can't work night shifts.
do you
As a
get nauseous
grade,
if
I
you have
couldn't
to
do
wake
it.
up really early? Like,
Yes.
oh my god, me too.
Not either like, if I have to get up I remember when I was like, if I've ever traveled or something and have to
Mhm.
catch, like, a p plane or I'm overtired because of jet
Yeah,
lag or anything, or anytime I'm overtired, I get nauseous.
me too.
So
Okay,
bad.
and I like that's been a thing like my whole life. And
Yeah.
Dawson was like, I don't know, like he'll joke about it, and I'm like, no, like I actually need my
Fine.
sleep, otherwise I will feel sick.
Yeah.
And always, and it's not even like maybe even if I have a decent sleep, if I have to wake up at like 5 or 6 a.m., I'm like, no, I don't feel good.
Yeah.
I'm
No.
like, I need to be in bed until like at least 7. Otherwise, I can't do it.
Oh, yeah, I get so nauseous, it's so weird. I
I
don't
would
know
love to be
how
more of a
that's been my
Yeah,
thing.
I would love to be more of a morning person, but I'm such a night owl
Yeah.
and I just can't sleep. And then I also don't want to be overtired.
I
So,
used to do work a 6 AM to 2 PM shift,
oh
and,
yeah. At the care home?
yeah, at a care home, and I loved that shift because I got there, like, before
You
anybody.
got to leave, you got to have your day.
Yeah, and then you're off work at 2, so it's, like, great.
Yeah, I did that shift when I worked at Coffee on the Moon. But I
Yeah,
would always feel sick in the morning though. I was
yeah.
not, I didn't like
I
it.
got used to it after a while, I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, me too. Your body adapts, but
Yeah, but
if
now I
I
work, like, 9 to 5, and if I were to get up at 5 in the morning like I used to, I'm like, "No."
Me, literally me, like, I wanna be a morning person because it sounds so nice, the people that say
Yeah.
they like, "Yeah, I woke up at 5 AM, I meditated, I went to the gym, I had a three-course meal." I'm like, "That sounds great." But
Just woke up at 9:30.
I'm like, I literally woke up at 8 and went to work, and that's it. I
Yeah.
had water before I went.
Like, sleeping in for me now is, like, till 9:30, but when I worked at 6 AM, my sleeping in was, like, 7.
Yeah, yeah, that's, like, the same as me too. I try not to get too off my schedule on the weekend because then
Yeah.
I will have such a hard time getting back into it.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
try and still, like, I love sleeping in, but I still try and, like, cut it off at, like, maybe, like, 10 is, like, the latest.
No, I never sleep past 10. I know. When I was younger, I would sleep in late, I feel like, but
Mm.
I can't I don't know, yeah, like this weekend, I slept until 9:30, and I was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, this weekend I slept until 10 and I was like,
That's awesome. Do you stay up really late, though?
yeah, like, well, not super late. I don't know, I guess it depends on what, like, you think is late. Like, I usually fall asleep at, like, 1. So,
1?
like, yeah, so yeah. But then to me, I'm like, oh, this is kind of late. I should go to sleep now. But if I just like my internal clock wants to be up until like 2 a.m. and
Wow.
wants to sleep till 10. Like that would be my time if I could. So I'm always like constantly going against my internal clock. And I even try, like, I'll be like, okay, I need to be in bed by 10 p.m. and I'll turn
Mhm.
my phone off and I'll like read before bed. Doesn't change anything
No.
at all. Nope. I have to be getting like a very small amount of sleep to like be able to rewire my schedule.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah. So I usually go to sleep around like somewhere between midnight and 1.
Is there an
But
option to like work later in the day with your job?
yeah, I mean, I definitely could, because like I said, some days are just so relaxed and I kind of just like put throughout the day and do follow-ups and whatnot. So I totally could, but I also I like to make a point of going into the office like in the morning, because again, like I feel like I'll be more productive and I don't want to get into a habit of going in late, because
Yeah.
then I feel like that could get, worse. So I make a point to try and go in on time and like be there all day.
Yeah.
So make myself do it.
Yeah.
But in a perfect world, my day would start at like 11.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
That would that would be nice, but
Yeah.
no, it's not real. And also the pandemic, I think since like just spending more time at home, I feel like maybe I'm staying up later,
Yeah.
spending more time at home. I don't know. A lot has changed. The pandemic has definitely changed a lot of like my interests and like the way I go about my day and stuff like that. I like want to be home more, which is weird.
Yeah, I'm more comfortable with it. I used
Me
to
too.
to go out. I still do. Like if I don't leave the house all weekend, I'm like, okay, I have to go to like Winners or something. Like I have
Yeah, me too. I'll just go walk around.
yeah, like I have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that I'm more okay with being at home and like I have some stuff I can work out at home and like I don't
Yeah.
need to go to the gym and I don't know, I'm getting adapting more to being at home.
Yeah. Me too, for sure. Like I've never really been a huge homebody. Like
Yeah.
just growing up and my whole life, like I've been someone that kind of always like wants to be around people, wants to like be out and about doing things. And I do like being busy, but I've just found like since last year and like having to be home and like I want to be home because I want to be, more careful and I don't want to
Mhm.
just be like all over the place. But now I have like if I'm like out all day, it feels like way more. Like I saw a TikTok the other day that was like, it's crazy how much we used to pack into our days and it was normal. Like
Yeah.
you used to wake up, do something, go to work all day, go to the gym, visit your family, and then visit your friends, and then go out drinking, and then like do this. And you'd be like, oh, another day. And now like you go out and get coffee and go to Winners, and you're like, I've had a long day.
I'm
Like I need
out
to
of
get
the house.
yeah, that's how I am now, which is so weird. Like I do just do a few things and I'm like, I should probably go home.
I feel like everybody's like that. I feel like I don't know if we'll go back
So
to
weird.
normal.
Yeah, it's so
Changed
strange.
our
And I
habits for so long.
yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Like now that like these habits that we're getting into of like being
Mhm.
at home more and doing these things are going to start to be so like ingrained in us by
Yeah.
the time that it might like be over. Like obviously I think one day we'll adapt back to how we were, well, to an extent. I
Yeah.
think one day we'll adapt back to how we were, but I was thinking about like how long is it going to take for me to, because even when everything opens up, like I said, it's like, what are you gonna do as soon as it opens up? And I'm like, I might go out, but then I'll like also want to go home
Yeah.
because that's what I'm used to now. So I wonder how long it'll take for me to like want to be out all day every day again, or to like fill our days up like we used to.
Yeah,
I'm
it'll be
interested.
so interesting. And
Hmm.
like I've seen some videos too being like, could you imagine that we were ever in an arena with like all these people? It's like a
I
video of
know.
this arena and like at a concert or something, or it's
Yeah.
so funny to think like and now there can't be so many people in a grocery store or something.
Also, I've seen things that's like, how close were we standing in line before?
Yeah.
Like, I think about that now too, because then I'm standing on my little X and someone else on their little X. I'm like, were
Yeah.
we closer before?
No,
And
we're
if
like
we
right
were,
next to each other.
yeah, if we were, why were we that close?
I know we're all going to be so much more aware of our
So
germs.
yeah, I've seen a ton of videos about that. That's like, what's something that is a norm now that like you're surprised wasn't before? And yeah, things like standing that close in line in grocery stores, or like never cleaning movie theater seats,
Yeah,
or like
sanitizing our hands when we leave the grocery
yeah,
store
like
too.
never sanitizing our hands or
Yeah.
cart. or anything like that. Also going to work sick and like being expected to go to work sick.
Yeah. Like,
That's something that also,
cough, or I just have a runny nose. It's fine.
yeah, that like blows my mind now. Cause yeah, before like you could be like sick and some bosses would be like, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
Take
Still
calls, like get
come.
to work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give
Now
these
it's like, oh, you have a headache? Like, okay, you better not come to
now
work.
they're like, I feel fine, but I have a sniffle. And
Yeah.
people are like, don't even come near work.
Yeah.
Let's get the COVID test now.
Yeah.
Which is, but I think it's also changed a bit. I think at the beginning of COVID, before testing was so like
Hmm.
easily accessible, it was like, oh, if you have a runny nose, like stay at home for 2 weeks. And now it's like, I have a runny nose, like, okay, get a COVID test, come
Yeah.
back to work after, and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I feel like people could definitely get away with like taking some time off
Oh,
if
yeah.
they wanted to. And I heard about
So
that too.
try to.
Yeah, people in like the
People be
summer.
like, oh, my daughter had vomited. It's like, but we
Yeah,
have to let them be off.
yeah, you have to.
But it's like, okay, I'm sure you're fine.
I bet it's so much more intense too working in a care home. Like,
Yeah, we have to get screened every day. They ask us all these questions. They take our
oh wow.
temperature when we come in and when we leave.
Hmm. You're
Yeah,
probably working with so many people that are immune compromised or vulnerable.
it's a vulnerable population. We have to wear goggles and mask all day.
Oh wow. Goggles too, hey?
All
Oh,
day over my glasses.
oh fun.
It's great.
Like are they like scientist goggle type thing?
Yeah, they're like big over top of
Like
my
the big
glasses.
ones? Yeah.
It's really weird. But I can like I sometimes take off my mask in my office, but usually
Yeah.
like, the residents come in out of my office all the time too. They just walk by and are like, "Hi," and come sit in the chair. So it's
Aw.
so then I have to put on my mask again, and so I just leave it on a lot of the time. But
Yeah.
yeah, you
Oh,
can take it off when you're like 6 feet away from people. But
yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Oh, that's so cute. All
Oh
the
my
residents
gosh,
are
yeah, I
probably,
have some regular visitors that come to the door. They're like, "Hi." So
oh,
yeah,
so sweet.
I love working with old people. They're hilarious,
Like
especially
things
they
like
all
that.
have dementia. Well, most of them do. So
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
love all of them.
Yeah,
So,
my grandma had dementia, so I remember
oh
like
yeah.
just in I've seen videos on this too, how like you're supposed to just like if someone's coming up to you and they're just making no sense, like you just like go along with their
Oh
story.
yeah.
Like yeah, no, for sure. Like I would see my grandma sometimes. She'd be like, "Did you see that cat?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, that's a pretty cat." And she'd be like, "Yeah, it's in my room now." And I'd be like, "That's so nice.
I
That's
know
so
it's just like second nature to me. Like if somebody says something, or like a resident says something, I'm just like, okay, and like go along with it and like ask some questions about it or whatever. Like live in
yeah,
their world, right? And that's just kind of like what I've been taught and what I've done
yeah,
for so many years. And some people who it's like their mom or dad or their grandma and they're not really sure how to deal with it, we can like
yeah."
coach them on like how to do that. Cause sometimes they'll be like, no, that didn't happen. Or
Yeah, I would when I first when my grandma first had it, I definitely well, I was a bit younger, so I definitely didn't really know. But then
yeah,
after like a bit, I was like, there's no point in correcting.
no,
Like, especially if it's innocent things like her thinking there's like a cat in her room, or
yeah.
like or she would just be like, "Oh, your uncle came to visit," and I'd be like, "That's nice." Like, doesn't live here or something.
Yeah.
But it's just there's just no point because it's just like in their world, it's something happy that's happening, and
Yeah.
mainly if it's positive experiences, I guess, or they're
Yeah.
seeing positive things, thinking positive things. Like you just are like, okay, that's
Most of
great.
the time they think they are living on a cruise ship. It's really
That's
weird,
nice.
but it's this like common thing because they are like have their own little like apartment things, and a lot of them it's this
Oh,
weird thing. It's so many people
that's
think they're
common.
living on a cruise ship, which is so weird. But it's
Oh,
like, oh yeah, and it's obviously there's no ocean outside, but yeah, it's so funny. They think that they're living on a cruise ship. So many people do. But yeah, I've met so many people just through my job. Like there was this one guy who was a detective with the Victoria Police Department,
yeah.
and he would talk
They probably
about
have so many stories.
yeah, he had so many stories. He'd talk about the cases, or sometimes he'd be going around looking at things and looking at the
Wow.
witches and whatever. And so yeah, there's so many. I love my job. I love working with seniors.
Things
It's
like that make me like. I used to want back in the day when I was probably just going to high school or maybe even younger. I was like I wanted to go into healthcare or be a doctor or something like that.
yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I realized that I'm really like not good with blood, and like I would get
Yeah.
really sad if like people were to like pass away and stuff like that. So I was like, I don't think I can do it. But it's like when I hear, and I have so many friends that are nurses and stuff too. I hear those things. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I know.
especially with working in a care
There's
home.
definitely hard parts to it, like especially working with seniors, you kind of have to be okay that a lot like the people that you take care of are going to pass away probably while you're working there, and you have to be
Yeah,
okay with that. And sometimes like when you're really close to a resident, then it's like it can be hard, but
yeah. I actually volunteered at Karen's more in Duncan. Like
oh yeah.
when I was young, like I like volunteered and did like activities and stuff with them, and I loved it so much. It was so fun. Like I would just go get the residents from their rooms and like bring them out for like the newspaper reading or like
Yeah.
bocce ball with like beanbag sacks and like stuff like that. But that was the thing that I didn't even do it for that long. And in the couple weeks or months or whatever I did, there was a few people that passed, and I
Mhm.
would just go into work and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get Gary from his room," and they'd be like, "No," and I'd be like, "No,
I know.
no." But it's also, I think it could be a very rewarding job though, and
Totally.
getting to hear all those stories. Like there's more positive than negative.
There is, yeah, like somebody doesn't die every day. It's sometimes
No,
like, and a lot of the time you can expect it with that age. A lot of the time they
yeah,
get their palliative and it's like a long process. Not much, not often is it like a fast thing that happens.
yeah.
So a lot of the time you have time to prepare and the family comes in, and
Mhm.
COVID's really affected that though, with how
I
much
bet.
activities we can do and all the visitors, the families coming in. And so
Yeah.
it's been hard with like people like you that would come in and be an activity helper,
Yeah.
volunteer, or whatever, and we don't have those people anymore, so it's kind
Oh
of just working
no.
with the staff that we have because it's very minimal
Yeah.
people that can come in.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's definitely changed that, but we're trying to be creative. We do doorway dancing every day. Everybody's in their
Oh,
doorway
that's fun. Oh
and
my god.
put on music in the hallway, and they dance in their wheelchairs in the doorway.
Ah,
All the doors are 6 feet apart. So funny.
that's so cute. Oh my god, I love that.
You know, they have to be creative. So yeah, there's lots of little things going on, but
Yeah, still give them a sense of normalcy.
yeah, it's so funny. I love
Oh,
my job though. It's so funny.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
So
well, I feel like we've just been chatting. I feel bad.
no, don't feel bad at all.
I don't know. I guess we didn't have like a time frame.
Not at all. No, it's been great to chat with you.
Yeah, it's been good to chat with you too.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to get together after COVID is
Mm,
allowing us to.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully soon. I mean, I haven't heard like anything about anything changing anytime soon.
I know. It doesn't feel like it's going to change anytime soon,
Been
but
a while now too that we've been in the same restrictions. It's
yeah.
been since November, which is longer than our original quarantine that we were in.
Yeah.
Like
But I'm
original,
hoping that with the vaccines coming out, it
yeah,
will allow us to maybe go back
yeah,
to normal eventually. Like we can kind of see an ending to it once everybody's been vaccinated. But
yeah. So
even with us healthcare workers, like I've gotten the first shot,
I was gonna ask, yeah. So you
and
have
we're
gotten the first shot?
slowly getting the second shot. But
Hmm.
it's taking so long because they keep delaying it because, oh, we didn't get our shipment, or oh,
Isn't there other strains that are coming out too that are?
yeah. So it's been a slow process with just the healthcare workers and essential workers
Yeah.
getting the
So
shot.
are
It
you
take a
are
long
you um are you like a bit more safe from it right now with the one shot, or is it not really? It does it not work until you have two?
Well, they say I
If
think
you were to come in contact with it, like, are you a little bit safer in that sense than like I would be not having the shot at all?
the first shot, if they say you're like 50%, and then the second shot you're like 90% or something like
Oh,
that.
okay.
So I would like have a 50-50 chance,
Mm,
but I definitely after the second shot you're, or I think after the second shot you're like 98, or like you're pretty
yeah,
well covered, but the
yeah.
first shot I think you're only like 50%. So
Oh,
it's
interesting.
Yeah, so they say, but people have been having a lot worse reactions with the second shot. Like um,
Oh, really?
all my coworkers that have had it, and our residents are getting the second shot on the first week of March. And so the
Mhm.
first shot, not many people had much of a reaction. Most people were just had like a sore arm.
Yeah,
But the
like any
second
other
shot,
one.
people are saying it's way worse. Like people are getting fevers, chills,
Oh,
like
really?
super tired the next day.
That's gonna deter so many people.
I
It's
know.
already such a controversial thing, like people
I'm
just talking
scared to
about.
get my second one. Like the first one I had like no symptoms at all, but everyone that's gotten the second shot that works with me is like, "Oh, it's terrible the second one." I'm like,
Mhm.
"Oh my
But at
god."
least, I mean, it's just like short term.
Yeah, it's only like a day or two, but
Yeah.
um
I guess like if you think about it though, like a lot of different shots, like it's kind of normal for it to make your arm hurt or maybe be like a
yeah,
little
like
bit
the flu
numbness.
shot and that kind of thing, the same
Yeah,
ones. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I think I got like a tetanus shot.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe it's a tetanus shot. And yeah, like my arm was so sore after, like I was a little nauseous, I was a little lightheaded, but then it like went away. So I guess like it is normal for shots to have some side effects, but with
Yeah,
it
most
already being
vaccines have that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But with it already being so many people being like it was rushed and all these things about it, that's definitely gonna make people nervous.
Yeah, it's definitely controversial, and yeah, it's kind of scary to get it, but then so many people have gotten it and it's been tested, and if you like do your research on it,
Yeah.
it wasn't really rushed. It
No, it
went
was something
all
that
the
was in the
same things,
process.
right?
Yeah, yeah, and it was something that was in the process for so long, but just didn't have the funding to
Yeah.
be completed. And obviously, like with proper funding, and when you go from having a small team of people working on it to the whole world
Yeah.
putting money in and working on it, obviously it's going to happen faster. It would happen with any vaccine.
Yeah. So yeah, so eventually I did get it, and I'm lucky to have it as a healthcare worker. So
Yeah.
I
I
got
think it said I did that like online thing, and I think it said I should have it. Maybe it said in July or like
yeah.
August. Something I think it was sometime in the summer they said because it's going they're going through the healthcare workers and the immune compromised and
I
yeah
think
different
our age group, if I wasn't a healthcare worker, I think we're last.
yeah we are
Yeah.
yeah because like and it's yeah where if you don't work in any sort of like essential business
Mhm.
and you're healthy and like 20 they're like
Yeah, like 18 to 25.
back in line yeah
Yeah, like we'd get it last. Yeah. So
but
yeah,
yeah, I hope that once there is more like vaccinations and well, I mean, even like I hope numbers go down. It's tough though being in this kind of like halfway lockdown though because so many people don't listen and like
yeah, like we can't see our families and go
yeah,
socialize with them, but everything's open. When before everything was shut down, it was a lot easier to be at home.
absolutely yeah, and I
Yeah.
think
You
it's
couldn't
made
go to Winners and you couldn't go to
yeah, and I think it's made so many people be like, why am I allowed to go to Walmart but not visit my family? So people are just
yeah.
doing it anyways.
Yeah.
But like, and it is so tough. But it being in that like halfway kind of thing, I think has made a lot of people just not listen to it at all, which
Yeah.
is probably why our numbers are not getting that much better.
And I think the holidays didn't help either. Like
No, the holidays,
Thanksgiving and Christmas, people probably still saw their family.
yeah,
And now the holidays are over. I guess till Easter, there's another holiday, but but for now, for a few months, there shouldn't be any like regular dinners that people would miss other than birthdays. So
yeah, that's true.
hopefully numbers go down, but I'm sure I don't know, I don't really follow the numbers because I can't watch the news
I
anymore.
know, neither do I.
But
I
I
just
feel like they're staying steady, but I don't know if they spiked around Christmas time or not. But yeah,
yeah,
I think
it
that
probably did. I
probably
know, I know around like Halloween and like Thanksgiving, I heard of like
definitely
low
did. Yeah.
spike. And
Yeah.
I'm sure the same thing happened around the holidays. But yeah, you're right. Like with not as many reasons for having gatherings,
Yeah.
hopefully it'll start to taper off. When I also don't watch like yeah, I mean I see something if it pops up on my Facebook or whatever, then
Yeah, that's the only time I see the
I
news.
don't go looking for it though.
No. I know. I always see like
I
the regular posts, the daily numbers or whatever if I catch it on the radio, but I used to watch the news like daily, like in the morning when I
oh,
was getting
at
ready to
first,
put it on.
yeah.
I can't.
Now, last year, at first, when things were coming, I was like on the beat, like, or on the Canada.government.bc, whatever. I
Yeah.
was like refreshing every
Yeah.
day. Like, oh my God, there's another 42 every day. And now I'm like, I'll just drive myself crazy. And
Yeah.
also, like, yeah. I'm just like, I just don't pay attention to it. I just kind of mind my business and do my part and like hope for the best.
Exactly. Yeah. Just sanitize your hands, wear your mask.
Yeah, I wear my mask,
Okay.
sanitize. Yeah, stay low key and just hope for the best, which is all you can really do.
At work, can you like take your mask off at your desk or anything, or are you just
Yeah.
wearing it all day?
So I have like my own private office. So if I'm in my
Okay.
own office, then I can take my mask off.
Yeah.
But if I'm basically if I leave my little room, then I
Yeah.
gotta put my mask on. Or if someone's gonna come into my office and chat, then we put our masks on. Which is nice though, because like I can just close my door and be in my own kind of bubble and take my
Yeah.
mask off so I don't have to have it on all day.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Yeah. That is
For
nice.
sure.
Yeah.
But everywhere else we have to have it on. And it's funny, like I basically put my mat I have to have it on in my apartment building too. Like anywhere I go, I have to have it on. So I basically put it on and then I'd like will pull it down over my chin if I'm like in my car or at work. But
Right.
then I feel like I have it on all day long and I never because I'm like, what's the point taking it off? I'm gonna put it right back on to go in anywhere I go in. So it's always just like chilling on my chin.
Yeah. It's just always there. I know. My car has so many masks in it.
Oh, I know. Mine too. I've got like blue ones, black ones, white ones, like, and then I've got the one that I wear every day. And
Yeah.
then I've 5 million other ones. Like, and it's funny too, because do you remember like at first when masks were starting to be a thing, like I would forget my mask all the time.
Oh yeah.
Everywhere I'd go, I'd be like, oh, I don't have my mask. But that
Yeah.
was like, you didn't even have to have it. So I would
When
just
it
like,
wasn't mandatory.
yeah, I would just go in
Yeah.
stores and be like, don't look at me. And then in the very beginning of the pandemic, there was no masks. Like
Yeah.
there was that huge shortage and there wasn't such a huge business for masks.
Mm.
So it was like save the masks for the healthcare professionals, which is also just so weird to even think about a year from now. Or
Yeah.
like or not a year from now,
Wow.
a year ago, yeah.
Yeah.
And how much it's changed
I
since then.
know. Yeah,
So
I used to always forget it. I'd like be walking into a grocery store and be like, "Oh," and I'd be like, "Oh, it's
I'll
okay."
see the masks recommended and I'd be like, oh shoot. Like
Yeah.
oops. But it would be recommended, so I would still go in.
I
But
know.
now it's like now I just always they're just everywhere.
Yeah. I always remember, like, before I even get out of my car, I just put it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually second nature now, which is another crazy thing, like the day that we don't have to put our masks on.
Yeah.
Or like, or like the signs get removed from the grocery stores that we have to wear masks. That'll be a crazy day. I'll feel like I'll be exposed.
I feel like a lot of people will still wear them all the time.
Uh-huh. I think there definitely will be people that will for sure. But yeah, I feel like I'll
Even
feel
big
very
cities like China, I've seen pictures even before the pandemic, and people
yeah.
wear masks on a regular basis just for their own health, right?
When I went to when I went to Thailand, I went to China briefly before and after, and yeah, it was like not everyone for sure, but
Yeah.
definitely like walking around airports and stuff like that, there was people wearing masks
Yeah, which
everywhere.
is probably smart. Like if you're in a
Uh,
place with a lot of people or something, then it'll
yeah,
probably be
yeah,
something that you do in big crowds or something
mhm.
still.
Yeah, and you would look at that at the time and be like, "Why are you wearing
I know.
masks?" Now
I
it
always feel like that's so,
makes sense. You're like, "Oh, that's actually maybe smart because you're around thousands of people.
yeah.
Who knows who has?"
Yeah.
So it
Or
makes sense now, but looking back on it, I would look at people that were wearing masks and be like, "Weird."
I know, it was really weird. We would never, even in the healthcare world, like unless somebody was sick,
Yeah.
we wouldn't wear them. And it's weird now because usually like the cold season comes around and we
Mhm.
have a few people that have a little cough or something, but like
Mhm.
nobody's sick because we're not
Yeah.
sharing our germs at all. And
Yeah.
there's
I
been no,
usually get sick.
yeah, there's been
Oh,
no
sorry.
EI outbreak.
Yeah.
There's been no cold outbreak. There's been nothing. And so
Yeah.
it might be a regular thing in healthcare too, just because it keeps like the seniors safe as well.
Mhm.
So, because we are the ones that bring it into them. They aren't
Yeah.
going
Oh, yeah.
visitors that come in are the ones that would bring it into them. So
Mhm.
yeah, then they haven't gotten sick this year with the cold or anything or the flu, which is amazing.
That is amazing. I usually get like every cold. Like I don't have a very good immune system. I usually pick up every cold, every flu. And yeah, in 2020, I might have gotten like one cold, which
Yeah.
is which is so crazy because I've always been someone that gets like every cold season, I'll pick it up. And I mean that also could just be from like working in like the restaurant industry and like
Right.
constantly being around people.
Mhm.
But it's always been such a norm for me to get sick so often that last year is weird because I was like, wow, I had like one cold and
Yeah.
that was and it wasn't that bad.
Protecting ourselves too. Yeah.
Yeah, which is so crazy. So there's a lot of practices I think should be adopted and
Yeah,
just
definitely.
because why should we all get sick that often
Exactly.
when
And
it could be
it's actually
avoided with some
normal.
with some hand sanitizer and like some masks and so many people could not have to go through that. Hell yeah. I don't want to have the cold 10 times a year.
Do you normally get the flu shot?
I haven't had the flu shot in a while. I just never think about it.
Yeah.
But
You don't get the flu, I guess you just a cold is different than the flu.
yeah, I haven't had the flu in a while, but I have had it many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I used to get the flu shot. I just haven't
Yeah.
thought about it in a while.
I
I
don't know.
don't
It's
know.
weird. Like I have to get it, or I don't have to.
Yeah.
Strongly encouraged for my work, and I
Mhm.
haven't gotten sick in a long time. It's
Interesting.
weird, but even the
Interesting.
cold. But this year, nobody's gotten sick. It's really
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's nice.
yeah, it is nice.
Hmm.
Yeah,
For sure.
crazy. Well,
Crazy.
I have an interview with somebody that works at 91.3 The Zone at 6:30.
Oh,
So
oh, that's cool. Oh, you're going right into another interview,
I'm
hey?
going into another one. I usually do on Mondays. I usually do a couple.
Oh,
So
okay,
this one
yeah.
will be out on Monday.
Oh, so will this it'll only be a week?
Yeah,
Oh,
it'll
cool.
only be 1 week. So yeah, and then if you could just send me 2 pictures on Instagram of yourself to post from, but
Okay.
it'll be out on Monday.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm excited.
Yeah,
All right. And 2 hours of us chatting.
totally. That's awesome. People love just chatting. People love that kind of
That's
conversation.
why people love podcasts, I guess.
They
They
do.
just like to hear people talk. I like podcasts for that reason. I could just listen to people have conversations all day long.
Yeah, when I'm like cleaning or driving or whatever, it's so nice to just have somebody chatting.
I know it's kind of funny, but
I never
it
used to listen to podcasts until I had to commute to work. And
yeah,
so when I started commuting from Shawnigan to Victoria, I started listening to podcasts. But before that, I never listened to them. It was so weird.
yeah.
But I
I
love them now.
Yeah, I think that I probably never really listened to podcasts either until maybe like last year, like when we first went into quarantine.
Yeah.
Then maybe like there's also I think podcasts have been gaining more interest and like a lot like a bigger
Mhm.
of an audience just in general in the last little while. Like
With
they
COVID
definitely
and everyone at home and that kind of
yeah, they definitely weren't as big before. Yeah,
yeah.
but I definitely like them and I'm starting to like I like them more and more the more I listen to podcasts.
Yeah, and I find ones actually I started listening to this one called Island Crime. I was looking for ones that were also from Vancouver Island, and
Yeah.
it's about Vancouver Island crimes. And it's so interesting.
Oh my god, I want to listen to that now. I love mysteries.
I love it. It's like
Unsolved
each
mysteries on Netflix.
episode, each season is a different case, but each episode like goes along with the case. And I'm only on season one. I think there's 2 seasons, but yeah, Island Crime. I'm so hooked.
Oh my god, yeah, I'm gonna check it out after this. I'm gonna like make dinner and put it on.
It's so good. Yeah. It's about one the first season's about a girl from Nanaimo that went missing. I don't know what the second season's about, but yeah, super cool. I don't know about any other Vancouver Island podcasts that are going on, but
I don't either, but that's super interesting.
yeah, that Island
Mhm.
Crime one is really cool. And she the way she tells it is really cool. She's really good at describing things and she tells the story really well. So
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
like
check
that
that out.
one. Cool.
Well, I'll let you
Good.
go.
Well,
Okay,
nice to see you.
but it was so good to catch up with you and everything. And
Yeah,
yeah, once COVID is over, we should definitely catch up in person.
definitely. Thanks for chatting.
Of course. Yeah, I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.